Good evening traders, it's Simon at Kairos Capital Markets with the weekly review of Aussie dollar and pound yen. Also this week I had a request to do a Euro Aussie as well, so I'll quickly dive into that as well as the last pair. So last week on Aussie dollar I said I was not very happy with this little rejection here, didn't quite a high test and I felt it could go higher. I also said at the same time as well that this three candle setup, the bullish candle, the little doji and the bearish candle, most people see it as a reversal setup. I do agree with it being a reversal setup, but I didn't like it where it was rejecting. It wasn't rejecting the 80 as such, so I didn't feel it was at the greatest of value. I also said at the same time buying the dollar was a bit of a wrong move last week, and I also said that intradays were a bit iffy as well. If you remember correctly, I said there's a range in the intraday. So there's your range, and it broke to the upside and coming down to test the range. So for me personally, even at this stage right now, there is no bearish price action whatsoever. I appreciate the 4-hour chart has got multiple high tests where it is right now, but for me personally, if you're going to take this trade short and a guaranteed short as such, say guaranteed but a higher probability to your side, you need to come through the channel, come down to the downside, then come up to test the backside of the channel with the 4-hour 50 EMA there you do. If you don't do it any other way, then you'll get stuffed. Now back to the higher time frames here. So this is the day at the moment. You've got a you've got a bearish candle, high test, and you've got this inside bar here. Like I said, that's just testing the intraday range, so I'm not really happy there. Maybe get a double top on the intraday would be quite nice, but it's a wait and see for me. And like I said, if you look at the weekly chart now, what we got there, we do have a high test on the weekly 200 EMA and on the 80 chart, but obviously that doesn't mean much. We can still pop above it and then come back down again. So the trend change hasn't happened yet, and I'm waiting and seeing what happens. That's what I'm doing in this chart here. Pound yen now. So on pound yen weekly chart, last week I mentioned saying, although the bearish engulfing candle was at a good value, but I wanted to see a bit of deceleration on the weekly chart. We've got the deceleration here now. This inside bullish candle here is quite nice, just above the weekly 50, which is quite nice to see. At the moment though, I'm waiting to see some bullish price action now. So if you can see here, we've made a higher high here, but a double top. We broke down, we have tested the daily 50 with little mini tweezers, come back up, put a higher test, put a doji in, and then we're starting to come down now. Now some people say, oh, it's just come down to value, another higher low, that'd be fine. But for me, that's not really a higher low here. I see it being a lower high at this point, and I'm waiting for some bullish price action now. So the bullish price action I'm looking for is actually another touch of this daily 50 EMA. If not, it needs to then break down on the intraday chart. So at the moment, this is what I've got for intraday charts. I've got a possible upward sloping trend line and a downward sloping trend line. Also note the 4-hour 50, how it's been respecting the 4-hour 50 recently. Respect there, here, bit here, and then a breakdown, and then come back to respect it again. So for me personally, I'm slightly more bearish than bullish right now. I would like to see a double bottom here, and I would like to see a test of the 144 area. That's what I'm looking for, and then I'll be looking to maybe take the trade long from there. But I just want to wait and see. And the reason why as well is, if you notice what we had here before, we have actually had in the past where we have a pullback to value. It's more on the weekly chart actually. Show the weekly chart here. And it never materialised. So if you notice here, it came back down, did test this there, then went to pop back up again. But it showed a low test there, but we just tested the weekly 50 EMA. So that's why I'm just waiting a little bit more here to see what really happens. I want to see some structure there and go on from there. So now the pair that was requested on the Facebook group, Euro Aussie, sorry. So what I'm going to do is here for the moment is zoom out a bit, and that looks a bit messy there at the moment, and I totally agree with it, it's a bit of a mess. But on the weekly chart there's a range between 155 and 140. Now if you drop down to the monthly chart, what you have now is this. You actually have this head and shoulder pattern here. So we've moved down, pop back up, there's your left shoulder, neckline, head, neckline, and now we're breaking up to the upside now of the right shoulder. And if you notice now how this candle on the monthly has finished, and take these out there, notice how the candle's finished. It's going to finish as a doji and it stayed above the monthly 50, which I think is quite key there for the moment. Also, this downward sloping trend line here, which is seen on the weekly and the daily. To me personally, we are in a bull phase up to the 155 area, which does represent a Aussie kind of weakness or a Euro strength. Depends how you look at on each individual bias itself. Personally, myself, I think it's a mixture of both. Where the Aussie does get a little bit weak, does get a little bit weaker. The Euro has surged quite nicely. It's pulled back to value, and I just see the Euro Aussie itself just moving up to the 155 area over the monthly time for the moment. If you then pop down to, so we're going to go up to the weekly chart on this one. I'm going to go there. And on the weekly chart here as well, what you've done now, you've actually had this weekly 50 EMA up, break to the upside, come back down, tested this weekly 50 EMA and the weekly 20 EMA, which is the monthly 50, and this downward sloping trend. I'm much cleaner on the weekly chart. I drew this line on the weekly chart and I've kept it there for the daily, weekly and monthly because it's so powerful there. And what we've done here, we had a little low test there, then a little indecision doji there happened here, but personally myself, that's just because of the daily 50 EMA, nothing more than that. So if we now drop down to the daily chart now, so my bias, as you understand, would be bullish to 155 roughly. Obviously 150 is in the way of that, and this possible downward sloping trend lines in the way, being it's only 2 touch, but I see it's been a bull flag. So for the moment, I'm just going to take this little blue line out. For me, this is a bull flag. So we're in a bull trend here, higher highs, higher lows, all up here. And then we've got the sharp downward move here. To me, testing the 145 area on the daily, which is quite nice to see. And it's just trapped at the moment between the daily 50 and this 145 area, and within this actual bull flag. So my personal view is this: is at the back there we are. Personal view is I think this will break to the upside, and that's why 155 is quite a nice potential target there. And if we now go to the intraday charts, we'll marry all this up together so you understand what I'm seeing. So what I see now is this, I see this triangle forming here, and as you can see, the daily 50 will coincide the 147.5 area, which also has created a triple top at the moment. So we're just being short squeezed here. A move down to S1 I would see likely today. The 4 hour 50 at the moment has been disrespected totally for this triangle formation here, so I'm not bothered about it at this present moment in time. And what I'm looking for really is a break and retest of the 1475 area. So if we just show what I want there, I want it to go up like this, and then we want it to come down there somewhere, this kind of area there, give a little test there of some sort. You might get in around about maybe here somewhere. You could put your stop almost there, let's say 70 odd pips or so. Target does the first level of 149.3, that gives you a 2.3% trade, and again the 150 area roughly at the very recent highs there, you've got a 3.5% trade there. So that's what I'll be looking for on this pair to materialise. Now notice 1475 as the key level on the 4 hour chart, and when we come to the daily 50 EMA, look in the top left hand corner there, 14742 is where the daily 50 is. So a break and retest of the triangle coincide with a break and retest of the daily 50 EMA. So that's quite key there as well. So marry it all together, I do feel 150 would be the first target, 155 being your second target. As you can see, that's what we're looking for here. And again, I'll just go back to here. If you're targeting 154, 155 there, you could get a nice 8% trade at that, no problem at all. So that's the added pair for you guys. I hope you're all well, and I will speak to you soon.